Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise and gratitude we call you upon the depends of the Rabbi because his gift we can see each other in this virtual meeting in the case of Aman fi Amanillah. Well, everyone, today we will discuss about managing for success. And the member of the 8th group are Nabil Azhari Husaini, Naila Turifa Harusmana, and me, Neng Srinopi. Today, the materials we will discuss are why problems occur, creating successful classroom, and modifying problem behavior. Okay, the first material is about why problems occur will be explained by Nabil Azhari Hussaini.
Thank you, Neng Sinovi, and I want to explain about why problems occur. Rosanier point out that when students come to class, they bring their own personalities and their learning expectation with them. Their behavior will also be influenced by their current circumstances and by what is happening in the lesson. Students are closely related to their personality self-esteem. Self-esteem is influenced by many factors. At the most basic level, it is very difficult to feel good about ourselves if we are not safe, or have no food to eat, or warm or shelter. But once we have of that, we can still be influenced positively and negatively by the people around us. The family. Student experience in their family have a profound influence on their attitude to learning to authority. Learning expectation, previous learning experience of all kinds affect student behavior. Students are influenced by what went before. Student learning expectations are also powerfully affected by the learning culture they are operating in, where norm of thinking and behavior may have become ingrained without anyone even questioning them. Approval. A student's self-esteem may result partly from the way the teacher behaves. Children seem to thrive on teacher approval and they are not alone. Students also look for approval from their peers. This is generally the case but is often most noticeable in teenagers who might not be very impressed by learning success but are often amused or amazed by the humor or anarchic behavior of their peers. Despite the fact that students are often interested in their peers' antics, however, we need to remind ourselves constantly that if a class gets out of control, what the teacher does. A lot will depend on how we as a teacher behave in class. In the first place, students are far more likely to be engaged with what is going on if they have something interesting to do. If they do not, or if they see the teacher as unprepared and are certain about what to do in their lesson, they are far more likely to lose interest. If they lose interest, their incentive to maintain their level of concentration is lessened. And if that happens, they are more likely to become disconnected with what is going on. That is when problem behavior often maintain itself. Success and failure. Success is a powerful agent for the sustaining of a student motivation. If they achieve identifiable goals, our students are likely to remain engaged with what is going on. Part of a teacher's job is to make sure that students recognize their achievement, however small those achievements actually are. Failure is a powerful engine for problem behavior. Teacher needs, therefore, to manage for student success. External factor. Some external factor might affect student behavior. If they are tired, they will not be able to concentrate. Discomfort then leads to disengagement. Noisy or from outside the classroom can impact badly upon student concentration. Teachers at primary level especially notice significant behavior changes in different weather. A high wind, in particular, tend to make their children go wild.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation. And the second material is about creating successful classroom will be explained by Naila Rifa Rusmana.
And the second material about creating successful classroom. Problem behavior rarely occurs in successful language classroom. When students are engaged, have a reasonable level of self-esteem, are experiencing success, there is no incentive for them to behave badly. To examine how we can try to ensure that the classroom is a success-oriented environment. A. Behavior norms. All groups, whether in education or anywhere else, have ways of behaving and quickly establish norm for this behavior which delineate the ways things are done in group. There are three things we need to bear in mind in order to achieve this. Norms need to be explicitly discussed. It is not effective just to tell students to read a set of rules about what is considered to be normal and acceptable behavior. We need to discuss the rule with group, explaining what they mean and why they are there. Norms can be jointly negotiated. If we really want students to buy into a set of rules or norms of behavior, we will go further than just explaining them. Norms need to be reviewed and revisited. Just because we have discussed a code of conduct at the beginning of a term or semester, it does not mean that our job is done. B. How teachers can ensure successful behavior. The way we work in lessons, in interaction we have with our students, make a significant contribution to group success, and when things are going well, the successful learning. Without good rapport, creating an appropriate group atmosphere and identity is extremely difficult, but there are things we can do, which is we can do to ensure a positive class atmosphere. Start as we mean to go on, student will find it extremely difficult if we only begin to insist. Know what we are going to do. Students are far less likely to cause problems if we give them interesting things to do. Plan for engagement. Students who are interested and enthusiastic do not generally exhibit problem behavior. Prioritize success. One of our most important tasks is to try to make our students successful. Equality rules. In any dealings with members of the group has to see that we treat everyone in exactly the same way, irrespective of who they are. Praise is better than blame. A piece of research carried out 4 decades ago suggested that when students were told of inappropriate behavior, it had little effect. Thank you.
And the last material will be delivered by me under title Modifying Problem Behavior. Modifying problem behavior. When students behave destructively or uncooperatively, our first task is to find out what the problem is. There are many things to bear in mind if we wish to achieve these goals. First, act immediately means it's very important to act immediately when a problem occurs because the longer the problem is left, the more difficult it will be handled. The second, keep calm means teacher shouting and dealing with problems in class will only increase noise in class. Need another way? We need to act calmly and carefully. We need to look into the eyes of distraction students, approach them, then talk to them in a measured tone. The third, focus on not student behavior. means we must be careful not to embrace uncooperative students. What is important is the behavior, not the character of the student. Although sometimes we want to make reproachful comments, we must be aware that such reactions not only tend for foster hostility on the part of students and damage their self-esteem. The port take things forward means more effective for a teacher to say let's do this than don't do it. Taking something forward is better than stopping it. The goal is to move on the next stage of an activity instead of focusing on the hold. Another way to progress is to reposition students. The fifth, talk in private. Ideally, a teacher starts trying to work out problem behavior with students after class, or at least in private in one-on-one situations at the teacher's desk. But if we have to face the situation in front of the whole group, we can use low tone of voice in warning it and approach the students the better. George Pettit suggests a three-stage approach when dealing with teens. He mentions the stage are chat, words, and telling off. The sixth, use clearly agreed sentences. We have already suggested that equality rules quite apart from the need for fairness to one student. This means that the students need to know what the penalties are for bad behavior. They need to be aware that if X happens, Y will follow. There needs to be a gradual scale of actions from a gentler reprimand, petty chat, see above, to removal from a lesson, and finally to exclusions from school. And the last one, use college and the institutions. When there is a problem, we should consult our colleagues, ask for their guidance. When issues threaten to get beyond our control, we are advised to speak to the coordinator, study director, or a principal, regardless of the sector in which we work, such elementary, junior high school, adult, public, or private schools. We will all experience a group of problems and encounter problematic behaviors at the same point in our teaching careers. Maybe that's all the explanation about modifying problem behavior. Thank you very much. Well, everyone, maybe that's all the explanation about managing for success. Thank you very much for your nice attention. And last we say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.